Okay, we're going to continue with the review for adding and subtracting of integers. Quick review of the steps or the process that we use. We've got our adding and subtracting rules. If it's normal, we solve it. And by normal, we basically mean that there's no negatives or that the smaller number is subtracting the bigger number. So a quote-unquote normal problem would be 15 minus 10 equals 5, where there's no negatives and the first number is larger than the second number. Step 2, I think we're going to rephrase this a little bit. Sorry, no, we're not. Step 2 is if it has a double negative, change it to a double positive. So if it looks something like 15 minus 10, a negative 10, we change that to 15 plus a positive 10. Step 3 is the one that we're going to reword a little bit. So it says take the sign of the larger number and use it for the answer. Another way of thinking of that might be a little easier for people is, what do we have more of? Do we have more positives or more negatives? And then finally, step 4, if the signs are different, we subtract, and if they're the same, we add. Okay, so let's go to our first problem, which is number 2. So please write number 2 down. So you're writing this down onto the long rectangle, and then you're going to rewrite it right here, negative 18 plus 6. And then would you please solve it? Circle your answer. And then I guess you should pause the video here and solve it. So hopefully you have solved the problem. Remember, you need to try the problem so that you can practice doing them on your own. Don't just copy what I do. So I'm going to redo it here. So I'm going to follow the steps. I'm looking at step 1. Is this a normal problem? No, it's not, because it has this negative sign in it. So step 2, is there a double negative? Nope. A double negative will be something usually in between the two numbers. That's not happening. Step 3, what is the sign of, or what do we have more of? Do we have more positives or more negatives? We have 18 negatives and we got 6 positives. So that tells us that our answer is going to be a negative. So I'm going to already circle, and I'm going to put in a negative there to remind me that my answer is negative. Step 4, are the signs different or the same? Well, we said we had 18 negatives and 6 positives, so they're different, so that means we subtract. So we take the bigger absolute value and subtract the smaller absolute value. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 1. We get a negative, and then we put this in for our answer, so we get negative 12 for our answer. Number 3, please write this into your rectangle, and then you're writing 46 plus negative 64 here. And would you please pause the video and solve it and circle your answer? Okay, hopefully you paused and you solved. Let's see if your answer matches up with my answer. So again, I'm going to follow the steps that we set up for adding and subtracting. Is this a normal problem? Nope, because it has a negative right here. Is there a double negative? No, because we have this negative right here, but then we also have a plus. So they're next to each other, but they're not a double negative. Alrighty, continuing along. Step 3, what do we have more of? We've got 46 positives. If you don't see something here, that makes it a positive. You can think of that as an imaginary positive sign in front of it, if that helps. And 64 negatives, so that tells us our answer is going to be a negative. So we'll put that in. Finally, step 4, signs were different, so we're going to subtract again. 64 minus 46. Again, everything that's written here should be written in the right-hand box. Everything you see here should be written down. We're going to borrow. 14 minus 6 is 8. 5 minus 4 is 1, so we get negative 18 for an answer. Moving on to problem number 4. Write this down, and then write the problem and solve it. Pause the video and solve it. So pause the video at this point, solve and circle your answer. Okay, so hopefully you have an answer. And I'm going to ask, is this a regular, normal type of problem? Meaning, does it look like everyday type of math that we might see? Not in this case, because we've got a negative 215. Is there a double negative? No. What do we have more of? Do we have more positives or more negatives? In this case, hopefully you can see we got a lot of negatives here. So we're going to put a negative for our answer. And then we go to step 4. Signs are different, so we can do what we have more of on top, the other number on the bottom. And we're going to subtract. 5 minus 6 is, can't do that, so I need to borrow. 15 minus 6 is 9. Can't do 0 minus 5, so we're going to borrow from that. From the 2, sorry. Make that a 1, carry the 1 over, so we have 10 minus 5 is 5. Bring down the 1, put this down with our answer, we get negative 159. Okay, then what I'd like you to do next is, for problem number 5, I'd like you to solve that on your own. So pause the video, write that down, and then I'm also going to have you solve number 6. So number 6, go ahead and write that down, and you're solving 5 and 6 on your own. If you have any questions, you can ask Mr. Hernandez or you can ask myself, and we'll be happy to help you out. Thank you very much.